We're teaching the geometry standard CO.1.5, which is also a high school standard, and they're learning about translations, rotations, and reflections, and we're using all three of those, which are part of the standard individually but together, and they're using the geometry software on the iPads, which is they can use Notes Plus to import the image, and then they're able to circle it and actually lift it up off the picture, do their rotations, reflections, and translations with that figure off the Tetris worksheet.
I think it's really awesome because you can use like a video game that like people have fun with, and you can actually use it to benefit your learning experience, especially with geometry and Tetris, because you can use rotations and it can give you a better understanding of the subject.
Yeah, I'm using Notes Plus right now, and that basically you can draw on it. You can get a text box, text words on there.
In class, they started with the worksheet, which showed them different steps on how to get a piece to a location. We used the generalization to pick a destination, and is everybody going to use the same trip to get there? And the same idea was used for this with the Tetris activity, that they could have rotated first and then gone ahead and done their translation and then gone more whatever they needed to do, but then maybe somebody else went ahead and translated first, then did the rotation. Okay, so if you're looking in the mirror at yourself, what happens to your picture?
Like it's reflected back. Yeah.
Okay, but what does that do to it? Are you seeing? It makes it backwards. Is that what happened here?
Yeah.
So what is that? See? Don't second guess yourself. Usually your first thought is double thumbs up. I'm looking for the beginning and the end and how they got there. Every student could be different. Some of them are working together, and that's okay. We encourage group work and discovery on their own, so a lot of them will do that, and then I'll just look to see that they're using the proper verbiage, that they have shifted properly, and that they're not skipping any steps to get there. You could have done a translation first, then a rotation, then another translation. Does that make her answer wrong? No. Good. I was given the opportunity by Mrs. Murphy to teach a one-to-one iPad class. This is my first year actually teaching. Last year I did like a bridged version where I had an iPad cart, but the kids didn't get to take them home. So to me, the importance of this is the accessibility to the students after hours. They will text me, they'll tweet me, they'll email me, and I'm finding there's a lot more communication between the students also, because they have their own chat boards and stuff to ask each other questions. So I'm not the one that has to always direct the class and be the facilitator. I'm just supervising a lot of times where they're learning on their own.
There's these things called flipped classrooms where she puts a lesson up on Canvas, which is a thing we use for work on the iPads, and then we can watch it at home. That way it saves time in the classroom to learn other things and to help students out with more one-on-one, like with what they need help with and stuff, which will in the end allow us to just move through geometry a lot faster and to be able to then touch on the things or get more in depth on the things that will be on the EOC.
Because they're learning the basic part at home, first of all, the thing that they like the most is that they can stop and rewind. And that's something we talked about when we discussed going to a flipped classroom at least once a week, that they enjoyed that part because they can't stop me in class, hit rewind. The other thing that the students have mentioned is that if they have questions, they can either tweet each other, which they've been doing, they can use my Google Voice, or they can go ahead and send an email, and I have a discussion page each time we flip, and that allows them to answer each other's questions also. And then in class, we're spending the time working on the skill instead of learning the skill. What did you notice about which one of those did you not use on Tetris?
Reflection.
Why?
Because
it didn't give you that option. What would have happened if we did do a reflection? They're teaching us, like we saw in the classroom, one of our students had an aha moment that he could physically manipulate that figure that we didn't notice before class started. That is a great idea. Hey guys, Tyler noticed something because you guys are using your Notes Plus. What he did to help himself out on board 1 is he colored in the shape. Then you circle it and it allows you to manipulate the shape and move it around your board. That's beautiful. That was an awesome idea. I'm glad you noticed that. You could do that. Good job. Good job, Tyler. When students are at home with their parents, the one thing that the parents should notice is that their child is learning an actual skill. They're not just learning how to add numbers or how to just move a figure. They're also applying it in the real world. And that's something that the kids have always asked, is the compelling why. And with this Florida standards, they're getting that built into the standard. So it's taking longer sometimes for students to understand, but in the long run, they're also retaining the information. Whereas before, they could keep it as long as the first test. Now, they're knowing the material later on.
We can do this!